Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 27 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series, where today I'm getting back to playing with Create. I've got several things planned for the episode. One, I'm hoping to get a windmill up and running today. That would be cool. I'm going to put away some things. Let's see, I've got a bunch of stuff, all of which all sounds pretty nice to have. I'd also like to see about automating Create with refined storage. What I'd like to do is set it up so that refined storage can auto-craft using Create, and I'll basically dump items into a chest, have Create process them on its conveyor belts and all its Create stuff, and then get sucked back into the refined storage system. So I added a few more recipes that are going to be used in the next coming segments here, and they're automatically. So let's start a little bit looking at what's involved in that. Does that sound like a fun plan? So eventually this water wheel is going to go away, but I'm trying to plan out exactly how this is going to look. So I'm thinking we're going to have like a conveyor belt line instead of this depot, and feeding into basins and doing some other stuff. But I have to test a little bit to see how the basin behaves if it gets disparate items. Specifically, like, you know, if I have like two recipes, I'm going to use an example, like electrum and brass, right? And there's like gold and silver, and there's, you know, copper, and will it have a problem mixing those items in appropriately? So we can test that real quick by grabbing some gold, some copper, and some zinc. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the gold in there first, and then the copper. And notice how nothing's happening. And now I'm going to throw the zinc in, and I'm hopeful that it's going to say, oh yeah, that's brass. But I'm going to ignore the fact that gold's in there. And it doesn't look like that's going to happen, right? So we're going to need to make sure that when we do exactly this, right? So if I just throw copper and zinc in there, it should... Oh wait, you know what? We should test that again, because I forgot I have to feed the dude underneath. Yeah, he's a little hungry. Poor little Blaze. He is sad. He has no fuel. Whoosh. All right, let's try that again, right? So I'm going to drop gold, then copper, right? And that's not a thing that the mixer can handle. And then zinc. And oh, it's mixing. That's cool. Well, that's cool. All right, and yes, it did actually make the brass and ignore the fact that gold was in there. So that's good news. That means that, yes, we absolutely don't have to worry too much about putting exactly the right resources in there. Now, it's possible that there'll be like two things that use copper, and if that's the case, I do have a solution for that. All right, guys, so one of the first things I'm going to want to make here, by the way, is the Engineer's Goggles. These guys are super useful if you're playing with Create. Requires a gold plate, which I've already made, and the deal with Engineer's Goggles, it will help you understand and see how much stress is being caused on the system. Now, if you missed my Create Spotlight, I'm going to cover this briefly in this episode, but if you really want the details of how Create works, I have a whole Spotlight series on it. But basically speaking, when wearing the goggles, you can see how much stress capacity is being created by generators. In Create, when you have a generator, it creates rotational force at a certain speed. And that rotational force has a stress limit on it. In other words, how much stress can be applied to the rotational force before the machines all stop. And as you speed machines up, they will generate, or they will cost more force. So this is basically like your cost mechanic, right? So we're generating 256 stress units per water wheel, by the way. So that's 3 of those, right? And then right now, this stress impact of the mechanical press here is 256 at its current speed. If I were to put this on a slower gear, it would be 128, right? So basically, the faster it spins, the more stress it's causing on the system as a whole. And this guy's also 256. So we can see overall how much stress is being made. So basically, your machines that do things use stress, and your generators generate stress. And if you use more than you're generating, the whole system will freeze up. So make sure not to do that. So I'm wearing my Engineer's Goggles just so we can keep an eye on how things are going. Let's plan out. What I'm going to do is break all this stuff and plan out exactly where I would like all this stuff to live. Does that sound like kind of a plan? I think so. So let's put away some things we don't super need at the moment. Like I don't need my shrinker at this moment. I don't need my astral tome for sure. Some dirt can go away, that's fine. And my shears, because I was shearing a bunch of sheep in preparation for the windmill. So let's plan out, I'm gonna remove actually a lot of these things here, just to get us back to the base mechanic of having the water wheel. Let's start out with setting up the stamping machine. So we want the mechanical press, where'd he go? There he is, to be living somewhere. And I'm thinking what'll eventually happen is we'll have like a big windmill on front of a big building here that surrounds us, kind of like a circular structure. And inside is where all my mechanics will be. So let's start by building out the mechanics, and then we will get the gears aligned so that they can all run. So I'm going to start off with maybe like over here-ish. We'll have a shaft running like so. And this can be our machine. How about 1, 2, 3? Let's do 3 blocks-ish. That should be cool. And we're going to use the mechanical belts here to do the pressing, right? So we want, I believe, a block space in between these. And then we want the press, wherever I put him. I always lose my stuff. It's a thing that Dyer does. And that should be cool. Yeah, I like the looks of that. All right, I'm going to take these guys off here. And then what I'm going to have, and we'll make this a little bit nicer looking in a minute, we need some andesite funnels, I think. So I taught the system here how to make them. They're really actually pretty cheap. They're just some dried kelp and andesite alloys, so nice and easy. Not a big deal. We're going to have chests on either, well, I might not have a chest over here. I might wind up with the interface. That might be cool, right? Throw an interface on the end of this bad boy. That could be neat. That could be neat. And then what we'll have is that here, right? So the way this works, I'm going to actually start with a chest just so I can demonstrate this to you guys really briefly, is your funnels, and there's 2 tiers of funnels, by the way. There's the andesite one, which is the basic one, and then your brass one, which is fancier and better. But I think we only need andesite for this. Funnels can be used for a bunch of different things. They kind of-ish do like, if you read the tooltip here, you'll see there's a bunch of things it can do. But the main gist of what it does is it allows you to extract items from chests. So if you put your funnel just anywhere in the world, it's going to look something like this. But if you place it on some kind of inventory that's adjacent to a belt like so, you'll see it's a little bit more compressed and compacted. And that's how you know you've set it up correctly, right? So this guy will extract items from the chest and put them on the belt. And this guy will go ahead and extract items from the belt and put them on the chest. And we can also filter what's allowed to go in there if we decide. So what we're going to do here is something like this. I'm going to put this guy here. I'm going to put this guy here. I'm going to put this guy here. Can I use a mechanical belt like so? Yes, that should be doable. And then what I'm going to do is let's get a little bit of more speed happening here. So I'm going to make sure that this guy is spinning at a decent pace. That should be cool. Yeah, I'm thinking, is that what I want? Maybe. Yeah, that should be fine. Maybe a little bit faster too. We'll find out. Because the other thing I could use is the chain drive. The adjustable chain gear shift. This one will speed stuff up as well. That's kind of a more compact way to speed things up. I might want to look into that. We'll see. But for now, let's just stick with this and see how it goes. We don't want anything too fast because we're not generating a lot of stress, but we will be soon. Okay? So let's get these guys connected to here. And you can see like a nice little angle of rotation. What I'm going to do is drop my gearbox like so, and then this guy here, and that should get everything running, I think. I think that'll be good. Now, is that running in the correct direction? It is. As a note, remember that the angle of rotation is important. So if we want items flowing in this direction, that's what we want, by the way. We want it this way. If you do happen to have a problem with that, you can use gearboxes to switch the direction, and that will make it go this way, which kind of reverses it, right? But that's, you know, obviously we want it going from left to right in this instance. So let's get just a quick test here, right? I'm going to drop a piece of brass in and watch. Nice. And now that's how we automate with Create. How cool is that? Now what I'm going to do is just replace this chest with an interface from Refined Storage, and then we can put a crafter on the other one, and we've got our first little bit of automation. How great is that? So I'm going to pop an interface here. We're going to put a crafter from Refined Storage over here. We'll just get a normal crafter for now. I don't know that we're going to need an iron or a gold, but if it turns out we do, we'll just deal with it at the time. Does that sound fair? Now we're also going to obviously need to get some cables run over here, which I'll probably take care of in just a minute. But I want to set up the foundations of Create first, and then we'll deal with that, right? Let's see. I thought you could rotate. Well, I guess not. Come on, buddy. Be cool for me, would you? Wow, he really does not want to go the right direction. I might have to get a wrench. There we go. Now he's behaving. That looks good to me. Okay, cool. And I'll have to set up something that'll look nice. We'll figure out the whole look nice bit after I've got the foundations up and running. So what I might do here, actually, is adjust this a little bit. And put this guy like so with our, not a vertical, but a normal gearbox doing that. That might be a little bit better, because then I can set up this one to do the mixer, which is going to be a little bit more complex, by the way. Now, the reason the mixer is going to be a little bit more complex is because we have to deal with the blaze burner. That's going to be an important aspect of this. We need to feed it coal. Yeah. So what we're going to want here is going to be a similar setup, right? Now that's going to rotate. How is this rotating, by the way? That's rotating this way. That's kind of not the way I want it to rotate. So I'm going to use the gearbox here to reverse that. That should handle that. Beautiful. What I like to see. And again, very similar setup to as before. We're going to want this guy here, but there's going to be a little bit of a difference going on. This one's going to be a little bit more complicated. So maybe what we want to do is have this here. Now, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work, but we're gonna figure this part out together because I haven't quite automated this yet before. But we want a basin here, and then we're going to want the blaze burner underneath the basin. That would be this guy. And remember, he has to be fed with coal. That makes this tricky. What I was toying with off camera real quick, and I'm just going to demonstrate this to you guys, I was hoping that a comparator could read the coal level. So like real quick off camera, I had made a comparator and got some redstone and said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I could detect if this thing was burning or not? And alas, you cannot. But I recommended it to the mod developer, Simi, and I think he liked the idea. So that might be a feature we see in the future. I'm not 100% sure. But being able to detect when this thing is running or not is going to be useful. But what I'm going to have to do until that exists, because right now there's no good way to detect if he's hot or not, right, is, you know, play with it a little bit and probably just overfeed it. Because the one downside is you can feed him all kinds of coal, right? So you can keep feeding coal over and over again. So I'll have to feed him coal, probably more than he needs, and it'll be a little bit coal wasteful until we can automate it a little bit better. And I think the best bet for automatically feeding this thing will be the deployer from Create. So this is a block that can right-click items into machines, which sounds awesome, by the way. However, we need an electron tube for this to work, and in order for that, we're going to need some polished quartz. So we're going to need sandpaper to make polished quartz, and then we're going to need some rose quartz, which I did teach the system how to make. It's pretty easy. I'm gonna make about 10 of them right now, which is nice and quick. And all you got to do to make this stuff is hold either the sandpaper or the rose quartz in one hand and the other one in the other, and hold right click, and it'll go ahead and do the thing. Cool. I think a deployer can automate this. I'm gonna have to see if there's a cool way that we can automate that, because I would like to have that bit automated. And eventually your sandpaper will run out, so don't, you know, forget about that. We're gonna have to figure that out as well. There's probably a way we can make that work. Something. I'll figure it out at some point. If we can automate making that quartz, that would be cool. Is all I'm saying. So to make the brass hand, we're gonna need some brass plates. Haha. And by the way, this machine will be faster if we increase the speed of these things. So if we make this turn faster, the machine will be faster. But we don't want to do that because we're going to be stressing this thing out enough as it is. We want to avoid that, right? So I didn't set this for auto crafting yet. I didn't run cables over here just yet, but we'll get there. So let's see. At create, brass hand deployer. So that would be you, and okay, cool. That's the recipe there. And then this thing should be ready. Let's give this thing a try. So what I'm gonna wanna do, I think this needs to go here, but that's facing the wrong way. Shift will face the opposite direction, remember. And this thing has a filter slot, so I'm gonna filter coal into you. Boop. And that's what's allowed to do that. So I'm thinking I might need to feed the coal into the deployer. We'll find out. With an andesite funnel, which we have one of here. Let's say that we wanted to have this guy running like so. Because automating this will be really, really important. Or at least just fun. Okay, and then andesite funnel like so, and that should be cool. Yeah. And we want to filter this as well, so only coal's going to be allowed in here. Oh, that's right. The andesite one doesn't have a filter. We need the brass one if we want to filter. It's all right. We'll manage to make that happen. Let's see here. What I'd like to see is how to get that down to there, because that can probably go to here. Yeah. What we might want to do is tunnels, I think. No, not tunnels. We want probably chutes. Yeah, chutes sound like a good time for this. I think that would be cool. Can chutes have filters? I forget. I don't think so. But what we can do... Yeah, I got a plan. It's going to be a little crazy, but I think it'll work. That'll be that. And we will have a chute here. Yeah. And then what I'm going to have... Maybe something like this. Yep. With belts like so. And I think that'll pull the coal off there. Now let's validate that real quick, just to be sure that I'm right about how this works, because I'm pretty sure it will work this way, right? So if I put this here and connect these guys, so he's going the right direction, and then we had a funnel, and we put a piece of coal here, the chute should pull it off and put it onto the belt underneath, I think. It definitely went somewhere. We might need to get this belt turning for this to behave itself. So how do I want to get that going? We're going to make this uber dire conveyor belty. And boy, is it going to be a mess. So what I'll do is I'll use the gearbox here. And then we will have the shaft here, and the belts like so. Oh, wrong direction. Yeah, that's all right, we can fix that with just another gearbox. Beautiful, right? So check this out. And then, does this guy need to be turned in some way? He might. He might. Yeah, it looks like, is it only one side? That's a bummer. So it's on the side that I need to get that into there. I mean, I could probably figure something out with a gearbox or several. See, I like building these contraptions. It's a little bananas, right? It's a little bananas. I might need this to be a vertical gearbox, though. That might need to be the trick. Yeah, I think that'll do. Because that should have a thing there. Okay, cool. Right? So you ready for this? Let's see. All right, so you're here. I want you to do that. Okay, I just want you to be a little bit cooler. Let's see. How can I make you behave? I could do a vertical gearbox here. With this dude like that. All the way over to here. And that. Ha 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 ha, cool. Ah, that's cool. Ah, that's cool. And remember, if items drop on belts, they're gonna, you know, be on the belt. But check this out now, right? You ready? So coal. Boop. 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 One thing about Create is when you get it working, you feel accomplished. You're like, yeah, that works, right? So now what I want to do is I want you to know how to make brass funnels if I can. So I'm thinking that you may need a brass funnel here. We're probably going to need 2 brass funnels to be fair. So we're going to start you. Actually, yeah, you know how to make these, don't you? So yeah, give me 2 of them, would you? Thanks. So I want you to be a brass funnel. Boop. And the brass funnel is a little bit fancier in that you can filter it and you can specify how many items are extracted at a time. Really important. So I'm going to set you to extract, instead, if it's star, it'll extract a full stack. 1 item at a time, 2 items at a time, 3 items at a time. I'm going to filter you to coal, which means only coal can be extracted out this funnel. So note that if I put all this stuff in here, nothing's coming out. But if I put a piece of coal in there, and if I put like 2 coal, for example, it'll pull 1 at a time. Got it? Boop. Boop. Nice. Nice. All right, cool. And then the other brass funnel here, we're going to basically want to blacklist coal. That's going to be the key, right? So you can pull out, you know, stacks at a time, and I don't care about you so much. Yeah, that looks good. Hey. Not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. So I'm going to need probably a filter. So if you want to specify blacklisting, you need to use a filter from Create. And what I'm going to do is deny list coal. And that means that coal will not be allowed to come out of here. So anything but coal can come out of this one, and only coal can come out of this one. Got it? Got it. Good. And then on top of you, did I need an empty block space between these two? I feel like the answer is yes. So we want you and then the mechanical mixer here. And that feels pretty good. And that'll be your automation for this guy. And we can set like the recipe filters here if we want to. You know, or what we can do is not if we also want to. So let's see. I think if I want you to extract from here on belts, what I'm going to want to do is something like this. And then we should use a brass funnel because we want to filter what items are allowed to be extracted. Because we don't want to pull out copper, we don't want to pull out zinc, we want to pull out brass, right? So for that to work, we're going to want you with an allow list for brass. Boop, boop, and that should be cool, right? That should work. We just need to get this wheel turning here. So I could do that relatively easily using gearboxes. And let's just make sure it's spinning the right way. It is not, so we can just, you know, put another gearbox, and that'll get it spinning the right way. And then that guy can go into an interface. I like this. I like it, Sam I am. I really do. I think it's cool. And this guy can be an andesite funnel because we don't need anything. I mean, we're filtering here, so we don't have to worry about filtering here. Got it? Good. I like it. I think it's all cool. I think it's super cool. We just need to hook you guys up to power and whatnot. But that should get the gist going, right? So here's what we'll do. We'll set the recipe so that, and it's going to be a little bit wasteful for coal right now. I think once we can detect this thing's with a redstone signal, we would change how this works. What we would do is we would detect that there's items in the basin and detect with a redstone signal whether or not this thing has enough coal. And if both are true, like, yes, there's items in the basin, and it's also true that it needs coal, then we can send a redstone signal over here to activate this dude. Because I forget if the deployer... Does he respond to redstone? He may not. But what we could do is use a clutch or something to stop this from moving. Cool. That's definitely doable. But for now, this will work. So what we're going to do is we're going to say the recipe is copper, zinc, and coal. And what I'll probably wind up doing is something like make a bunch of this at once. So we'll probably say, like, maybe we'll do, like, I don't know, 4 copper or 8 copper if we want to make brass, right? That might be cool. But for now, we'll do with, like, 4, right? So what we'll do is we'll have the crafter put these 3 in here. And you'll notice the copper and zinc go in there. The coal goes down there. He starts cooking. This guy needs to be spinning, which I totally did not set up yet. But I can do... he's kind of in line with that. I need to get that spinning. But you get the idea, right? So the coal went in there, the copper and zinc went in there, and that's working. So how do I hook this bad boy up in a way that's not too dire messy? Dire belty. Call it whatever you will. Or can I connect? I mean, there's obviously a lot of ways we could do this that's, you know, gonna work. I could do a vertical gearbox like here. And then you're ready to do what have you. This could work, right? Oh! Overstressed. Because you're doing what? 128? Really? I overstressed this whole thing? 256. Are you using stuff, Mr. Deployer? I guess you are. 128. Ah, I see. Yeah, I must have overstressed him a little bit. I overstressed the belt system. So if we want this to keep working before we get to the windmill, we're going to need another water wheel. So here's what happens when you overstress your system. Right? So let's do... That's right. They're called planks now. I'll remember this eventually. I'll remember this eventually. I'll just do 1 water wheel for the time being. And we've got our buckets here. So basically what we want, and some glass. There we go. And that should get us going again. And now everything's running because now we're producing enough stress units. 256 times 4, right? And everybody should be good. Now, are you running at a fast enough speed? You seem to be. I just need to give you another piece of coal because it burned out, right? The coal doesn't last very long. Ta-da! And now, notice that that copper and zinc sat in there forever. And now that it's making brass, it's allowed to go on through. That's kind of cool. Yeah, let's see if those 4... Yeah, that works pretty well. We could probably even get away with, looking at the heat level there, we could probably get away with 8 sets of brass if we wanted to, but I think 4 is enough, right? So 1 piece of coal for every 8 pieces of brass, aka 4 zinc and copper. That works for me. That works for me, right? So then all we need is a crafter to sit here, and we should be good. I like it. I like it. We'll have to decide exactly where we want that crafter to sit. I mean, it could just sit here. It doesn't matter. Come on, buddy. With the rotations. There you go. That works. You know? And then we could just boop, 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 boop. That's kind of cool. I like it. I like it. And what I'll probably do is run most of the rest of this underground. So, you know. Now might be a good time for shrink. Now might be a good time for shrink. Sneak right click. Whoop. Can I not get inside that block space? Oh, there we go. Yes, now I can. Yes, beautiful. Hooray! Super tiny dyer for the win. Alright, so that would be... Where's my interface? Here. There he is. Oh, I'm laying down. That's interesting. I wonder why I'm laying down here. Like, when I'm underneath these cables? I don't know, it's a little bit funny. Yeah, why does he think I'm laying down? I'm not laying down. Might be a bug with shrink. It's a newish mod. Hello, buddy. Yeah, that looks cool. Right, so that gets that going. That connects all my stuff. And then we just need to hook it up over there, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. So let's get it over to, let's say, 268. 268 seems like a good number to me. Yeah, see, he keeps wanting to think that I'm down like that. I think that might be a bug. Either way, it works. I'm not too stressed about it. There's 268. Then we go this way. And there's your cable. Nice. I like the shrink mod. It's super cool. I don't know why I'm doing this like laying prone thing though. Like that's weird to me. That shouldn't be happening, I don't think. Does it happen when I'm like, oh, you know, what's funny is when there's, you know, that must be a bug, right? That must be a bug. So if there's 2 blocks above me, we're cool. But then as soon as I go into a 1x1 space, that's got to be a bug. Yeah. See what's happening there? So like I totally can manage this. But as soon as we go into a space like this, that happens. Yeah, I see what's happening. I see what's happening. It's all good. Gotcha. Now, I might need a few more cables here. I'll probably need a few more than that. Get them cooking. And this will connect up my create automation system. There we go. Nice. All right, so let's teleport to our bed. Let's de-shrinkify. And then what I'm going to do is teach you how to make brass. Okay, so the reality of the situation is to make brass, we're going to want, how do I do this again? 4 of you, 4 of you. We'll make 8 of you, but I'm also going to give you a piece of coal. Got it? Okay, and then brass plates. Shift click to remove. Cool? So that'll be that, and that'll be that. And we're going to go test this out right now. Okay, so you're going to be this dude. No, you're going to be this dude. And you're going to be this dude. And that should be cool. So let's do a quick test. I'm going to take all my brass out of here. And I'm going to ask for 2 brass sheets, or 3 or 4 brass sheets. Why not, right? Ready? Watch. Start. Go. So it does that. It does that. The coal goes down there. It gets inserted. It gets cooking. Okay. The brass is being made. Exactly like we would want to see. And then some comes over here and gets stamped. It's working. And then getting fed into the refined storage system to complete the craft. How cool is that? How cool is that? I love it. I love it. That is awesome. So that is automating crafting with create and refined storage. Booyah. And I'm going to call that wrapping up point for the episode because I think that's pretty good. All right, so for now, Del27 off. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That's not terrible. It's a little bit messy, but that's okay. I think we're pretty used to a little bit messy at this point. I will cover up a lot of the areas that I can cover up. I mean, technically, I could cover up this one too if I really wanted to, but I kind of like seeing that all happening, right? So we'll wrap up the episode here. We'll come back next time, and what we'll do is continue playing with Create. I want to get the windmill up and running next. So I decided to go like full-blown automate all the things this episode, which, you know, worked out in the end. Totally did. But yeah, we definitely need to get a windmill going if we want any more progress in Create, because we already ran into a limit with our stress on the water wheels. So we need a much better source of Create rotational energy that can handle more stress. All right, for now, Del20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.